Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the StockCharts TV studio here in Redmond, Washington. My name is Grayson Roze, Chief Strategist here at StockCharts.com. And as always, fantastic to be with you. I'm excited about our weekly video that we're going to do today. We are going to talk about how to manage your portfolio as if it's a professional sports team. This is an analogy that I've used for a long time with traders and investors that I speak to who are trying to get into the markets, trying to learn how to manage their own money. And they ask me about what I do, my own systems, my own routines. And what I like to share is how I think about my own portfolio as if it is a professional sports organization. I am the GM and the head coach of my own portfolio. And I've created sort of an organization using stock charts, using a watch list system, using ChartLists on StockCharts.com. I've created a whole organized system to manage the players on my team, the players in my organization, which of course are the stocks and funds, the symbols that I own, and those that I am thinking about as well. So today we're going to jump over to stock charts and I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do, how this system works using these chart lists. You're going to see it for yourself straight out of my own account, routines and processes right out of my own toolkit. So looking forward to diving in with you today. And I want you to, as we're going along, be thinking about this analogy, managing your portfolio as if it is a professional sports team. So let's jump over to stock charts and get it going. All right, everyone. So we are here on stock charts. And as I said, today we're looking at my own process, my own toolkit. You are seeing kind of behind the scenes into how I operate as a trader, as an investor, again, using the stock charts platform. Now, specifically what I want to start here with is the tabs that I have actually open. We're doing this right from my own laptop. I'm using the Chrome browser here. And what you can see actually up at the top is how I've organized some of the different tabs. This is a browser window that I actually leave open all the time. So I've always got access to this browser window with these specific tabs. And as you can see up at the top, I've grouped these tabs in a very specific way. I've got one tab that is my portfolio, and I've got a chart list in my stock charts account that's got all of the different positions that I have. That makes it really easy for me on any given day, at any given moment, to jump over to a chart list full of everything that I own. Those are my players that are on the field or my players that are on the ice, if we want to think about it as a hockey team. My portfolio is sort of my players that are actually out there on the ice. So I've got a chart list in my account that's got all of my positions in it. That is something that I highly, highly, highly encourage everyone to do. Create a chart list in your stock charts account that's got everything that you own in it. Now you can keep notes on those positions. You can monitor everything right from there and have it all in one place. That's one of the most important things that you can do to take advantage of the chart list system. Next up, though, I've got this group of tabs called watch lists. Now, for me, I think about these as players on the bench, but I think about these as also players on the sort of farm team. I'll pause here for a sec, and we'll really lean into the hockey metaphor because we're kind of at the tail end of hockey season here, and I'm a big hockey fan. So here in the Seattle area, we've got our professional hockey team, the Seattle Kraken. Now, of course, the Kraken have their top players, right? They got their starting lineup. They got the players that are out there on the ice. And at any given time, they also have a pretty deep bench of players that are, sitting there waiting to get some ice time, waiting to jump into the game. But any professional hockey organization also has a farm team. They've got a junior team, which is players that are, technically on the Kraken. They're part of the organization, but they're actually playing on a junior team that operates somewhere else. Now, in our case here in Seattle, the Kraken have a farm team down in Palm Springs in the Coachella Valley. So we've got sort of these two teams, right? We've got the Kraken itself, the professional team that's out there making the big bucks. But we also have sort of the up-and-comers that are on this farm team. And they're still playing, and the coaches are keeping an eye on them, and the organization is keeping an eye on them. They are part of the Kraken organization. They're incredibly important. But technically, they're not contributing to the Kraken's season as a professional hockey team. It's kind of separate. So I like to think about my portfolio and my watch lists in a very similar way. The players that are on the ice for me, the ones that are actually scoring goals and making headlines, hopefully getting some wins for the team, those are my open positions. The things that I have actually put on as new trades, new investments, those are my players that are on the ice. Now, my primary watch list, the things that I'm really, really focused on, stocks that I'm actively considering as a potential target, those are sort of my players that are on the bench. And I have other watch lists as well that are sort of the up and comers that are on the farm team. So anytime I have a new stock that crosses, across my desk, across my screen, anything that pops up on the radar, I can put that into my sort of farm team watch list, and I can gradually bump it up this system into, kind of elevate it into a bench slot. And if the time is right, I can put that stock, that trade on, and sort of put that player on the ice, if you want to think about it that way. So I really do see myself as kind of managing a professional sports organization when I'm managing my portfolio. And the key there is that I'm not just thinking about the things that I own. I'm thinking about the other things that are on my watch list, the things that I could own, the things that I'm considering, that I'm keeping an eye on. Those are sort of my up and comers, whether they're on the farm team or they're getting really, really close and they're on the bench. So I've got an organized series of watch lists, which is what I want to walk you guys through today, that I actually keep open at all times. Now, I call these my tier 1 watch list, my tier 2 stocking list, and my tier 3 buying list. In theory, I should organize these in the opposite order so that my tier 3 buying list is actually kind of closer to my positions there. But my buying list, those are my players that are on the bench. My stocking list are kind of the players that are on the ice and the farm team. And my tier 1 watch list are the players that are on the bench at the farm team, if you want to kind of think about it that way. But again, what this allows me to do is anytime something comes across my radar, I can drop that new stock. Let's say it's a new stock. I can drop that into the appropriate watch list and keep an eye on it from there. Now, if something falls out of my portfolio, let's say I get stopped out of a position, well, I'm not fumbling trying to say, oh, well, I'm going to go replace that with something and now I'm going to go find it. No, I've got my players that are on the bench on my buying list, and I can just swap one of those right in because I'm planning out those trades, I'm keeping everything organized, and I'm staying vigilant with things that are even on the bench. I'm watching what's on the ice, what's on my portfolio, but I'm also keeping a close eye on up and coming opportunities that are quote unquote on the bench. So I want to walk you guys through this system today, show you how valuable it is. Now, we're showing off these tabs, which kind of gives you the structure. But I'm going to, from the dashboard here on StockCharts, I'm going to hit that chart list button, and we'll navigate down to these chart lists. I want you to see them in my account. So again, I've organized these chart lists and grouped them together. That's one of the keys. I've got 3 chart lists that I've grouped together into tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. You can see that I use a bit of a starring system to kind of keep those chart lists in my account organized. And I use other symbols as well to organize different groups. But for these watch lists specifically, I've used a starring system. I've got one little asterisk to keep those things organized. And then I've named them, of course, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So this is what we're going to take a quick look at today. Now, we're not really going to look at the all positions list because we sort of talked through that one. Create a chart list, take everything that you own, make sure that you've got charts of your open positions organized into one chart list. That's kind of a given. What we're going to talk about today is how I manage these watch lists and the items that are in them. So I like to use, again, once you've created these 3 chart lists there, you can leave them empty and then start to fill those in over time. But once you've created those and you do have them filled in, I like to use the ChartList View. And again, the idea is that I'm able to move things between these different lists. So when something first comes across my radar and I'm saying, hey, this thing seems like it's going to start setting up at some point, I want to keep an eye on this, well, I can dump that into the tier 1 watch list. Once it starts getting a little bit closer to something that's actually nearing a buy point, I can move that over the tier 2 stocking list. That becomes the list that I'm following a little bit more closely. And once something is right there, right at a buy point, and this is the time to trade it, I'm really, really heavily considering it. Doesn't mean I'm absolutely going to buy it, but it means it's at a buy point. It's kind of at a crucial level for me and might be something that I want to put a trade on. I can move that over to the buying list. So having these 3 watch lists that I can sort of organize and categorize and move things between, that's where this system really, really flies. So I like to use the ChartList View to do this. So save things into these different lists, and then use the ChartList View to actually review them. And I'll show you how easy it is to move things between these as well. So we talked about the starring system for those individual lists. Within each one, I also use a starring system to kind of know what I want to move from list to list. So if we actually look at all of the individual stocks within here, you can see that within that tier 1 watch list, which again is kind of the first step, the first place that anything goes, I've actually starred all of these with a 3-star. So that means that it's kind of a tier, well, sort of a little bit backwards. It's kind of a tier 3 within the tier 1. I know that's a little bit confusing. But for me, it makes it easy to say, okay, if it's got 3 stars, it's kind of at the bottom of the list. It's not a 1-star, it's a 3-star. So using a starring system actually within the names of these different symbols, specifically from the ChartList View, you'll see that in just a second. But as you can see, everything within my tier 1 watch list is going to have 3 stars on it. Everything within my tier 2 stocking list is going to have generally 2 stars on it. Now, I'm able to actually edit the names really easily from the ChartList View. That's what you're going to see in just a moment. And that's where I can start to sort of recognize what I want to move from list to list. So using this starring system, though, keeps things categorized into these different groups and makes it easy for me to mark things and then move them to a different list. You can see actually a little preview of that in the tier 2 stocking list. I've got a couple things that are getting really, really close to some crucial buy points for me. Those would become interesting, and so I've actually marked those as a 1-star, and I'm able to kick those over to my buying list at some point. And then everything, of course, within the buying list would just have a 1-star on it. So we'll take a look at this now, again, starting with that tier 1 watch list. So I mentioned the ChartList View. The reason that I like the ChartList View is because I can set this to a continuous scroll and then just scroll through all of the charts that I have saved into this watch list. So again, whenever anything comes across my radar and a stock seems interesting or someone's talking about it or it's something that I want to follow, I won't even hesitate. I'll just drop it right into my tier 1 watch list. That becomes kind of the first starting place, kind of the dump bucket for me for stuff that I want to keep an eye on. Now, as I scroll through here, you can see how easy it is to scroll through all of the different charts that are in this list. And anytime something catches my eye and might be getting close to something that I'd want to move to another chart, let's say, for instance, ACM here is getting kind of close to the green line that I've marked on this chart as an interesting potential entry. We're getting close to that, which means that it might be something I want to actually move to my tier 2 stocking list, things that I'm keeping a closer eye on. So from the ChartList View here, because I use this little starring system in the name, I can click right in there, take a star off, hit save, and now that's going to be marked as a 2-star in this list. Once I get to the end of the list, I can then go back and move anything that has 2 stars to the other list. So we'll do that really quickly right now. We'll scroll through here. I'm going to go very, very fast. But let's say I'm scrolling through this list. All of these look like tier 1 candidates for the list that they're currently in. But a couple of these, I'm sure, maybe CNM, that's kind of getting close to one of those green line buy points. So that might be one that we want to keep a closer eye on. And let's say for the sake of argument, Crane, also kind of looking close. So I can mark up a couple of those as 2 stars, and I can scroll through this entire list and do the exact same thing. Maybe Fix is also getting close. We might want to mark that one as a stocking list candidate. So let's say I do that for the entire list. Again, really, really easy to change the names on here. Using that ChartList View, you can just click right on there and edit those names right from this list. So I can scroll through everything in this watch list and update those names with the appropriate star. Now, once I get to the very bottom of that list, I've reviewed everything that's in that tier 1 watch list. I can jump over to the edit view, and anything that I've marked as a 2-star is automatically going to float right up to the top. Makes it easy for me to see those. So now I've reviewed everything, let's say, in that tier 1 watch list. I can mark anything that I adjusted down to a 2-star. I can select those, and I can actually move it over to the tier 2 stocking list. So easy to move things between these different lists. So I've reviewed everything that's in that tier 1 watch list, and anything that's that seems like it's getting closer to something that I want to keep a really, really close eye on, I can just move that right over to that tier 2 stocking list. Now I can do the exact same thing. I can scroll through this tier 2 stocking list, and everything in this list now is going to have a 2-star on it. But anything that I want to mark as a potential buying list candidate, I can change down to a 1-star. That's going to, again, signify that I can move it over to that tier 3 list, the buying list. So let's say, BK is kind of getting really, really close to one of those levels. So that's one actually that I've already marked as a 1-star. I've done the same with JPM. And again, these aren't things that I'm absolutely going to buy, but they are things that I'm marking as really, really close to a potential entry. I'm planning out those trades. That's actually what these horizontal lines are. The green is sort of a potential entry point, something that I'm keeping a close eye on. And the red is where I would set my stops if I did put that trade on. So you can see that I've actually marked up pretty much everything in this list with, since these are, working lists straight out of my own account. I've marked all these up with, actual potential entries and stop levels and things like that. And so anything that I want to mark as a potential buying list candidate, I could actually change down to a 1-star and go through this whole process again. So again, easy to scroll through this whole list and make any changes that I want. Now, in the case of something like booking that's actually moved quite a bit above that potential entry, I might want to do the opposite. If this is something that I say, hey, you know what, this has gone too far, the trade has kind of moved on me, I didn't take advantage of that one, I can change that one to a 3-star and say, hey, maybe this is something that I want to keep an eye on in case it reverses and comes back and tests that level. But I'm going to take it out of that tier 2 stocking list and move it back to the tier 1. I can move things around in either direction, right? I can put something back to the bench, take it off the farm team ice and put it back on the farm team bench, or I can move it up to the real pro team bench, things like that. So that's kind of how I'm moving things between these different lists. And again, by using the ChartList View, it's incredibly easy to scroll through all of these charts and simply make any of those changes to those names that I want. Now, the other great thing about the ChartList View, though, is if I do want to jump in and make any changes to these charts, all I have to do is click on that chart, and that's going to jump me right over to the SharpCharts workbench with that chart in that list already loaded up. So I can actually do the exact same process right here from the SharpCharts workbench. We can select any of those lists, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and I can simply move through the charts that are in that list using these little arrows right here. If I do want to jump to the edit view for that list, it's really easy to get there with that view as menu right up at the top. So I will do this process from the SharpCharts workbench as well. If I want to make any changes to the charts, I'll jump over there, and it does make it easier to add those different lines and things like that and kind of plan out some of those trades. So you can do this from either place. Now, when you're doing this from the SharpCharts workbench, you've actually got 2 different ways to edit the name. Of course, you can hit the Save button and make any changes that you want right there in the Save field. But you can also jump right into this menu, open that Save Charts menu up, and look for that little pencil icon. So, for instance, if we were looking at Crane, and let's say we wanted to change this one to a 1-star, well, I could also hit that little pencil in there and change that to a 1-star, hit Update, and there we go. I've now updated the name. So, similar concept. You can use that sort of naming system, stars in the name, that kind of thing, to keep your watch list items organized. Now, this is how I do it. I like to use those stars. You might like to use numbers or something like that, or just kind of move things between the list, especially if you're doing it from the SharpCharts workbench where you can save things to a new list right from here, sort of on the fly. Maybe you don't need to use any sort of stars in your watch list. Maybe you just want to let the list that it's saved into sort of be the organization. It's up to you. But again, the idea of having multiple watch lists like this with sort of a high priority, a mid priority, and a low priority, incredibly helpful. That's how I like to again think about sort of all the potential players that are in my organization. I got my players that are on the ice, that are actually in my portfolio, that are out there sort of battling for me, right? But I also have the players on the bench, and I want to keep a close eye on those because no matter what we hope will happen, of course, some player at some point is going to get injured. We're going to have to pull them off. We're going to have to take one of those bench players and put them on the ice, right? So again, the things that are on my watch list, those are kind of my players that are on the bench, maybe even deeper into my organization on the farm team, if you will. And the players that are on the ice for me, that is my portfolio. Those are the positions that I have on. So incredibly easy to create these lists, though, maintain these lists, move things around between those different watch lists. And I think as you get into this, as you experiment with having multiple watch lists like this and moving things between them, kind of prioritizing those different watch lists, I think you'll see the value. Also helpful having smaller and smaller lists. So inevitably, I've got a long tier 1 watch list. My tier 2 list is going to get a lot smaller, and then my buying list is only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the most kind of names. So I want to keep those lists smaller and smaller so that they're more and more manageable. I also find that process of trying to keep them smaller kind of keeps me focused, keeps me organized. Instead of just having these giant lists or having all of the funds, symbols, and stocks and funds and everything that you're watching in one chart list, having this sort of series of watch lists keeps you a little bit more organized. It forces you to say, you know what? I already got 5 things on the buying list. This is a great chart. Here's a great setup. But I already got some other things that I'm watching, so I'm going to keep that one in a different list, and I'm going to stay focused on these ones that I already have on my buying list. Keeping those lists nice and short and manageable, letting maybe the tier 1 watch list be a little bit longer, but keeping that buying list much, much shorter really helps you stay organized and stay focused when the time comes to put on one of those new trades. Should one of your players on the ice get injured, and you got to kick them out of the portfolio. So anyways, this sort of multi-watch list system has been definitely a game changer for me as a trader, keeping me organized. I found this to be one of the most sort of profitable structural things that I've got in my whole system. One of my most profitable routines, organizing things and moving those symbols between those different lists. So I want to thank you for joining me on the show today. It's been fun to dig into some of my own toolkit, share with you guys some of the things that I use on the StockCharts platform. So much value there, so much power there. Of course, if you are not yet a StockCharts member, sign up for one of those free 1-month trials. You can take advantage of tools exactly like this, creating those lists, keeping those charts organized in whatever way works for you, whether you want to have 2, 3, 4 watch lists, keep your portfolio in that list. Of course, one of the most crucial things that you can do, take everything that you own and put it into a chart list. But chart lists really are one of the most important features on StockCharts. Keeping your charts organized, keeping those groups of symbols that you want to follow, keeping all those organized as well. It's a great tool for organizing your watch list, great tool for organizing your portfolio. So hopefully this has given you a little taste of the value that those chart lists can bring for your process. But again, if you're not yet a StockCharts member, be sure to sign up for that free 1-month trial. You get to take advantage of all these tools and features that we're looking at here on the show today. I want to thank you again, though, for watching. Remember, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Let us know what you're watching, how you like to organize your watch lists and your portfolio lists. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And, of course, subscribe to the channel for more great content every day here on StockCharts TV. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Chief Strategist here at StockCharts.com. It's been great to be with you. I'll see you again soon for another one. But until then, keep calm and chart on, my friends.